they might be more efficient than electricity itself.
We have enough sun after all.
We have enough sun. Yeah.
Just looking at, Governor Yanda Kolo, of course, he's no stranger to the region. He has been part of affairs here from the regional council. He's been, as far as government, on a ministerial level as well, coming back to the region now since 2020, being appointed governor by President Geingob. Just what do you make of the region under his leadership for the past 3 years or so? Yeah?
Yes, as you have mentioned that the Honorable Governor is not a stranger to the region. That's a fact. And us having him back, we thought he's somebody who come then and revamp the region, knowing it from the core. But what I have seen is that the councillors themselves, we only have few that are new. In most of the constituencies, you go to Mtele, the councillor has been there for so long. You go to Olokonda, the councillor did the same as to the governor. He was just returned into the position of which he has served for some years. But now, even if you check now those places, development is not that on the fast track as we have assumed. Now, having all of them who have served in the positions of leadership at the regional level as governors or as councillors, the expectation was that service delivery would be at high speed. But now, if you just see what is happening, maybe it's political infight or all those things that are hindering development in the region.
Very much.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll get into that conversation in a bit, David. Of course, there's a lot to unpack today. We have the governor, of course, will also be delivering that State of the Region address in a few moments. But before we unpack, and dissect things further here in the region, let's give you a glimpse of, what the Oshikoto region and Umthia particularly look like with these few visuals. Let's have a look here. That's right, of course, some sounds and visuals there of the Oshikoto region. It is a 2023 State of the Region address to be delivered by Governor Penda Yanda Kolo in a few moments. We're here at the Nantu Office Hall in Umthia. And of course, people continue to make their way here to hear what is the state of affairs in the Oshikoto region. I'm still here with David Usiku, who's our analyst for today. And he's, of course, part of the region, comes from the region, and has a good grasp of the affairs here. David, just moments ago, we were talking about how perhaps development isn't taking place at the pace that the people would like to see it. Much of the leadership are no strangers to the area, no strangers to the portfolios that they carry. Where do you think perhaps things go wrong on a political level? Yeah?
Where things go wrong is because our councillors now have to face the councillors because they are the ears and eyes of the governor. They don't do things like, as we see now, the SORA comes on. So meetings with the councillors in the constituencies is something that doesn't happen. So for things to go well, these councillors need to meet with their people in their respective constituencies for them to listen to them, what are their inputs and what are their points that they think should be done. Because you can't just be a councillor, then you are at your office, having your planning maybe just with personnel within your office. You need to go to the community, listen to them. What is that they need? not just a matter of promising them that well, this is what we are going to do for you, but you might end up not doing it. Go to them and ask them, for us to have a proper constituency, what should we do? Now, if constituencies have plans that are put up by people within the constituencies, that will give the region a better image, because all the development of all the constituencies, they are the ones that will make up the development for the region. So what is needed is that councillors should at least have meetings within their constituencies, listen to the ideas of the members of their constituencies, and then from there they do the submission to the governor for the proper implementation of the regional activities. Yeah.
Development for the people, by the people, I think.
Yeah.
Of course, just looking at this the State of the Region address. I understand the governor is here and he'll be taken to the podium in a bit. Just what do you expect from today's SORA, and do you expect much difference and perhaps an update from last year's State of the Region address as well?
Yeah, at least in today's SORA, what I'm expecting is that it will be just like a feedback from the previous SORAs. Mm-hmm. If there were projects that were under review, how far are we with them?
Exactly.
So, like I can remember last year, and even in the media, not just what the governor has said,
but also what happens
what has been reported in the media. Like, within Oshikoto region, we are expecting a road to be tied from here to there. Yeah. How far are we? Especially when it comes to network, it's a problem. Yeah. How many network towers we are expecting to have in Oshikoto this year?
Very much.
How many have been put up, and are they functional? Or they were just put there to make people quiet, silent, saying, no, it's coming, but up to now it's not functional. The roads, network, all those things, the construction of schools. How far is the region from moving the regional education offices from Oshana to Oshikoto?
That's been a long debated, a long-standing issue, to have the ministry, have an administrative function directly here in the region.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, to the judiciary, how far are we with the magistrate in Oshikoto? Because we only have in Oshikoto, we have in Chume, but now at the center of the region in Omthia. Yeah. It's very much challenging.
Very much.
Because especially on the business entity, they have to travel so long distances to go and renew their licenses. Yeah. And these are the backbone of the region. If we don't have registered business personnel or business entities within the region, then it will not be something of any use, because they will be operating illegally.
Absolutely.
And again, one thing is maybe the governor will tell us more on NETIS. NATIS offices, we only have, it's been said that Oshikoto has NATIS now in Omthia, but to be honest, the office is its domain. It's just for little functions. You can't go there and renew a license. All those things are not there.
So those service deliveries we need to look into, and hopefully we'll of course hear from the governor as far as those issues are concerned. But we continue with our conversation in a bit, David. We also of course took to the streets of the region to find out from the people what their needs are and what they would like to see, of course, come from the governor's address today in a few moments. And this is what they had to say. These are the voices of the people of the Oshikoto region.
Tohara ni governor wetu, toharo mea, so toharo magumbo. Unene o ini matohara orusheno tunanga mara haronana, ini ma pehara. So ne pate du kapo mikunda kucho ponaru ragonga simpono shigambo. Otwapumbwa pate.
Otwapumbwa equacero, kotaun kansera, ituningiro matara. Ngeri popepi ngandura no pati.
Semara, no humana, si se into 20 gram, and no hot, and that's in my Taragana, I'm doing a good way.
That's right, some of the sentiments coming from the grounds there, and of course you can hear quite a number of issues relating to water and electricity provision. I think, David, those are some of perhaps the more pertinent issues, especially in the remote rural areas, of the region. You have 11 constituencies. Would you agree that, perhaps as far as, water and electricity provision, we can do better in this part of the country?
Yes, with water electricity, it's also a big challenge. Yep. And as I said, with electricity, we can either use solar panels to supply electricity to those that are in need. With water, we cannot say we have no way to get water in Oshikoto region, especially in Omthia constituency. Exactly. Omthia is just a few kilometers from here.
Never ending.
That water is not salty. Yeah. It cannot be compared to ocean water. So for the desalination of that water, if that project happens to be put in place, then water gets desalinated, we can supply water to all the 11 constituencies of the Oshikoto region without any suffering to be had anymore. Yeah, I've heard the Omthia hospital they experienced a water shortage for 3 weeks. The hospital.
3 weeks?
3 weeks without water. So that's a big challenge. Now, even with the water that we have from the pipeline that runs from Karuheke to Ntsewanime, the main problem that water cannot reach as far as Ngodi is because of the pressure. Now, what we need to do, you cannot just put a small millimeter pipe underground which cannot carry a large quantity of food. Now we need to put up some power stations there to pump water. Water cannot just be pumped from a dam which is here, but then we expect it to run for 70 kilometers. At the middle there's a need of another pump. And then with sun, as I have said, because they might end up saying electricity is very expensive. If you have 1.5 million to use on electricity from NORAD, then just to electrify one school, for instance, yes. If you take that 1.5 million to buy solars, you might end up supplying electricity to many schools. So with solars, that's the only way forward to go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
David, I want to get an understanding and a feel, of the youth challenge here in the region. Obviously, we know that across the length and breadth of the country, youth are often faced with high unemployment, a lack of business opportunities, a lack of financing, etc. Just give us an understanding of what the situation looks like here, as far as the youth are concerned, and perhaps what are some of the notable strides we've made in recent times as well. Yeah?
Yes, with youth. The high employment is very challenging, and one of the things that we can have in place to overcome this is to stop our youth from being job seekers. They must create a job, as it has been said, and them creating their job is not like they have to wake up from their beds, then they just say, today I'm an MD of a company. They have to be motivated so that at least they come together and come up with ideas. Then with their ideas is when now the government have to help. What is needed is either land. Work or employment is not just when you have a certificate or when you can be able to be recruited in a company.
Very much.
What we need is food. Food security is something that we need in our country, and by having youth who are able to work using their hands, using the land available to either come up with gardens, we can have this youth busy with something. Then one can now use what they get from their gardens to go and create other employment. If one is either a qualified carpentry, they can use what they got from the garden to go and buy their machineries and then have their own projects on the other side.
Absolutely. But it's not for lack of trying. I've read a couple of reports. Some of the local mines as well have been really trying to also empower the youth, but perhaps not to the degree that we want. Yes. Would you agree to say that perhaps we're doing a bit but not enough, and how can we perhaps further build on some of the initiatives that stand here?
Okay, now for when it comes to issues of that nature, we cannot really rely on them. What I understand, what I believe in as a youth, I believe that the ideas in my mind are the ones that will take me high. Because if we rely on either saying those that are giving either training, I might not be able to acquire the training needed.
Absolutely.
What I need is that what I'm able to do, what do I have in mind that I understand will take me high?
Yeah.
Then that is what I believe can help. Because if we say people should be trained, then we decide on the field of training that we have.
Yes.
People might go there for training just for them to either to kill time.
Yeah.
Because if you say there are opportunities for youth to be sent for training from either certain company that comes up, people flock there and go because people are home bored.
True.
But if you ask them, what do you think should be done to you? What is that you have in mind that you want it to be done for you to be a better youth? Right. Then from there, it can be good. Because we have many people who even went for training, either kayak, vocational education, but they are still home-seated.
Yeah.
Their qualifications are
gathering dust, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just because people, they just took the opportunity that came, but now that end up as a waste of resources. Let the people be trained on what their interests are.
Very much.
Otherwise, it will be of no use.
Very much indeed. Yes, of course, additionally, Governor will be taken to the podium in a bit, looking at last year's SORA once more, and perhaps, do you expect much update, much progress within the last financial year, or do you expect, a repetition perhaps of last year's outcomes here?
Well, my expectation for today is that if the governor is to talk about something of last year, let it be a feedback on how far we have gone. Then from there, something new that we are expecting is now the demands that came from the region. So if it will be a repetition of last year's speech, then it's of no use. And one thing that I want to be done is that the figures should be mentioned as they are, not saying the region spent about 1 million. Was it 900,000? Was it 850,000? Or what? So
the change.
Yeah, let it be specific so that we see now how are we spending. Because I have seen that there was a certain project of a road to be done in Omthia. Yeah. It's a 1.1 kilometer road which costed around, say it's 5.8 million.
For a 1 kilometer stretch of road.
1 kilometer. Then the contractor couldn't finish. Another contractor was also given the job to finish. How much was given? So now it might end up to 7 million just for that project. Yeah. So it's always better if we are to mention numbers as they are, so we see.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
David, of course, we'll continue our chat after the governor has delivered his State of the Region address. I understand that, of course, the people are standing by. We now cross over to, that is, the Nantu Hall, where the chairperson of the Oshikoto Regional Council is standing by to kick off the affairs as we prepare for Governor Penda Ianda-Kolo's 4th State of the Region address in a few moments. Do stay with us.
Honorable Penda Ianda-Kolo, our Regional Governor Oshikoto, Majesty the King of Ondonga, represented by retired Colonel Nashandi, Worship Mayor from Thea Town, and the other mayors in attendance, honorable members, both regional and the local authority councillors, Ms. Cristela Mwenyo, Chief Regional Officer, and the OPAWA team, Oshikoto Nampo Regional Commander, and the powerful team, Commissioner Nashikaku, dear stakeholders, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is my distinct honor and a privilege to welcome everyone and thanking you all for responding to our invitation to attend the State of the Regional Address, as it is a rule governed by the Namibian Constitution, Article 110A, subsection 6. Today, the Regional Governor, Honorable Penda Yandakolo, is delivering the SORA, where he is to share with the nation on the development progress in our region, Oshikoto. Honorable members, dear stakeholders, I urge you to listen attentively, as an opportunity will be accorded to ask questions and give contributions after the regional governor address. Your questions should be based on the issue that mostly will be focusing on development of our region. So please feel free to ask your questions in the language you are comfortable with. Honorable members, dear participants, on that note, please join me as I invite our regional governor, Comrade Penda Yandakolo, to come and address the nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chairperson, Honorable Samuel Shivute, the Chairperson of Oshikoto Regional Council, Your Worship, the Mayor of Fairtown, Tsumeb Municipality, Onipa Town Council, Unkwaniro wa Wandonga, Mokwa Epokwe, akaliwapo ko Senior Traditional Councillor, Comrade Nashanji. Honorable Regional Councillors, local councillors present here, all Chief Executive Officers, Community Commissioner Teoperinakaro Monashikaku, our Nampo Regional Commander, Deputy Commissioner Warum, Officer in Charge, rest of Chikongo Correctional Senior Government Officials, regional heads of various ministries, staff members of both, also the governor and the Oshikoto Regional Council, Comrade Armas Anquil, our SORA Party Regional Coordinator, and the other leaders of the different political parties, traditional leaders, distinguished invited guests, members of media, fellow Namibians, good morning. It is a great honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to deliver the fourth stage of our region address. I wish to thank you all, honorable members, and the people of Oshikoto region for making time for your busy schedule to attend this important annual event. Allow me, Committee Chairperson, to start with my speech by reminding all that good governance is a prerequisite for peace and the prosperity of every country. His Excellency, Dr. Hage Geingob, the President of the Republic of Namibia, has declared this year, 2023, a year of revival. Therefore, I would like to call upon all of you to revive good governance at your various levels of operations. We should all do self-introspection on how we are contributing to good governance in our country. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of good governance for the attainment of our goals and the objectives cannot be overemphasized. Good governance requires credible and trustworthy institutions built on transparency and accountability. Accountability goes beyond mere service delivery. It also means answerability. If a service is not delivered in a timely and efficient manner, it is the citizens' right, but also their duty to demand it. It is therefore pertinent that the people are providing with information on various government activities and the services. Pursuant to that, the Oshikoto Regional Council and all other line ministries in the region are shifting from the traditional way of doing things to a more ICT-driven approach, where the majority of information is now accessible through websites and the social media pages. Residents are not longer required to work long distances in order to obtain particular information, because all information on procurement and the other services are now available online. It can therefore be confidently stated, without a shadow of doubt, that our procurement processes are transparent. It is also worth noting that decentralization is having a positive impact on the service delivery in our region. The accounting officer in the region can now approve majority of requests, saving residents the time-consuming process of waiting for approval all the way from Windhoek. ICT skills are critical for development in the 21st century. As such, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology Regional Office continues to offer free computer classes. The Ministry also provides the sound recording studio that continue to attract a lot of community members and other stakeholders who are using such services. In addition, the MICT Regional Office also continues to deliver its services through distribution of government information to the public. Despite progress made in this regard, our rural communities are still faced with a deep-dived problem. It is therefore challenging for these communities to access digital information. In order to ensure that everyone receives information on time and that no one feels left out, I implore the regional councillors and the other line ministries to find innovative ways of disseminating information to our people, especially in the rural area. Comrade Chairperson, Honorable Regional Councillors, and the local councillors, fellow Namibians, the creation of a valuable business environment, more especially at the grassroots level, it is essential for a robust economy. The government of the Republic of Namibia and the private sector need to join hands in assisting business startups, as they are the key in driving economic development and employment creation. Despite the current economic headwinds, as a region, we continue to build an economy that will benefit all people by providing effective support to the micro, small, and the medium enterprises to run their business more efficiently. During the year under review, the micro, small, and the medium enterprises sector was assisted as follows. Dante Precious Metals, Tsumeb. In partnership with Tsumeb Municipality and the COSDEC, completed the final construction of a street vendors market in Tsumeb, which will provide a safe and a secure environment for vendors to operate from. The final construction of this facility is valued at around $1 million Namibian. In addition, Dante, in allocation with collaboration with the SME, completely rolled out the microgrant pilot program, which funded 20 businesses within this region of Oshikoto. The total amount granted for this program was 200,000 Namibian dollars. While Onipa Town Council has fenced the open market and the recreational facility in Onipa Town, so that hawkers will have a shelter to sell from. And the council also assisted poultry farmers with a chicken feed crusher and a hammer mill, both at a total cost of more than 250,000 Namibian dollars. Furthermore, Okashana Rural Development Center has trained 330 farmers in the area of horticulture, poultry, piggery, and a valued addition in order to contribute to the food security, income generation, and the employment creation. The center also assists 10 micro enterprises with table eggs at an affordable price for resale, while 20 poultry farmers were also assisted with hatching and the poultry eggs in order to increase stock and generate more income. Moreover, the Division of Veteran Affairs has funded 28 individual veteran projects at an amount of $4 million. The purpose of this individual veteran project is to assist veterans to generate income through businesses to improve livelihood. In the last SORA, last year, I mentioned that Theatre and Council had set aside $3 million to construct phase 2 of the open market. I am very much pleased to inform their residents that phase 2 is now 90% completed, and they will soon be utilized by our vendors in Onthia. Here, the Office of the Regional Governor has set also aside an amount of $100,000 to assist the micro enterprises with materials and equipment to grow their businesses. The enterprises are expected to get their material and equipment by August this year, 2023. As a region, we will continue to assist SMEs because when they grow, the economy grows as well. Henceforth, I implore SMEs in the region to register their businesses with the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade in order to get other help, including bank loans, and they grow their businesses. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure development is important, as it does not only ensure the provision of critical goods and the services to the communities, but it also provides much needed improvement through tenders. Awarded, especially to private companies. During the year under review, Oshikoto Regional Council budgeted about $46 million for the infrastructure development in this region. A total amount of $40 million was also spent. The execution rate for infrastructure development was therefore 88%. The sectors focused on include provision of clean drinking water, electrification of rural area, settlements and the growth centers, surveying of settlements, implementation of the sanitation program, and the construction of roads and offices. I am very much proud to report that during the year under review, Oshikoto Regional Council budgeted for 17 areas to be electrified. Among those, 7 areas were fully electrified with a medium and a low voltage network. The other 10 are in progress, and the majority of them are above 80% progress rate. The electrification of 6 schools in the region, including coca shops, and a church in the Kankolo constituency are completed. Additionally, 6 more schools are as well as in Halaji and Pingana constituency office, coca shops, and the church in Omtela constituency are in the progress of electrification and are at advanced stage of completion. The construction of electrical services on Naena Extension 1, Phase 2, has also commenced. And it is anticipated to be completed by June 2023. Other key infrastructure development projects successfully implemented include the construction of a water and a sewer rectification in Oshikoto Extension 1, Phase 3, and the construction of the Guinness Constituency Office, Phase 2. The maintenance subdivision at an amount of $1 million also constructed, and the workshop where all equipments of a subdivision is stored. Despite the fact that copper theft, most substations remain a concern, and it compromises the consistent supply of electricity. NORAD continue to execute its duty. Last financial year, 6 rural schools in the region were also electrified by NORAD, costing around $11 million. The Oshigambo back supply was also rehabilitated. The MV networks were debushed, and the many substations in the region were also fenced, all at the cost of $900,000 Namibian. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot deny that the region continues to face water scarcity challenges, especially in the deep rural area, where water pressure is low and salty. The region's heat wave has worsened the current dry and arid conditions, putting further strain on the already existing water difficulties. However, despite those challenges, the regional leadership is fully conscious on the responsibility they bear to mitigate them. In that regard, the Oshikoto Regional Council has completed the installation of Molu Kirabo Hall in the Hari Jampingana constituency, the extension of a Shiaga water pipeline in Umtere constituency, and the Eakulo water pipeline extension in Ngodi constituency. The following projects are also in progress, and the majority are at advanced completion stage. That includes the rehabilitation and the installation of one borehole at Ulvod, the construction of Amateta, Nakalunga water pipelines, and the construction of Kanyole water pipeline. The Office of the Governor also provided materials worth $150,000. Extension of a Golo Okakango pipeline in Okankolo constituency. Similarly, the Division of Rural Water Supply conducted an experimental intervention for the water challenge by drilling 5 deep boreholes at an amount of $4 million Namibian in the rural constituencies, which are historically prone to saline underground water. Unfortunately, it was found that none of the 5 boreholes were safe for women and animal consumption. In order to cleanse the water and make it suitable for consumption, Division is currently busy implementing the desalination process. Additionally, the division drilled and installed 1 borehole in Narusheshete village, and they installed 5 boreholes at more 5 villages, which are currently providing safe drinking water. Moreover, NAWATER is working on the environmental impact assessment study to the Ontangwa Mtsekoni water pipeline replacement phase 1, which is budgeted at $80 million, as well as Oshikoto Mtsekoni water pipeline scheme, which is at the initiation phase and budgeted for $27 million. Our government continues to support the region's marginalized community through the SORA development program at a cost of $600,000. The Division of Marginalized Community installed solar pumping system at the Gauson's farm and the Elephant Post at the farm on Dera, respectively, which now supply the community with clean, potable water. The Omphia Town Council is hard at work, building a ground reservoir of 6,000 cubic and an elevated tank to serve the water needs of residents at the cost of $6 million. The project has already used $4.9 million, and it is expected to be completed in September this year, 2023. Tsumeb. The Tsumeb municipality is also busy rehabilitating the Tsumeb reservoir, which will enhance backwater infrastructure and safeguard the quality of potable water to alleviate the town's present water problem. This municipality, Tsumeb municipality, also upgraded phase 2 and 3 of our wastewater treatment plant, both at a total cost of $4 million. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, road infrastructure play a crucial role in contributing to economic development. During the year under review, the Regional Council upgraded Oshikoto intersection road and also rehabilitated the Huipo Primary School road, while Onipa Town Council has also constructed a 200-meter new gravel road and maintained 4,700 meters existing gravel road and a 4,000 meters informal road at the Unethindi proper extension 1. And the informal settlements at the cost of $900,000. Similarly, the 400-meter President road was also rehabilitated by the Tsumeb municipality at the cost of $2 million Namibian dollars. Comrade Chair, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Namibians, when it comes to the health matters, the Ministry of Health and Social Services aims to provide access to quality health care for all Namibians as enshrined in our Namibian Constitution. Therefore, the ministry is constructing and renovating the deteriorating, that is the word, health infrastructure in our region at a total budget of 1.8 million Namibian dollars. The Ministry of Health and Social Services is busy with the following projects: upgrading the dental clinic at Tsumeb Hospital, the construction of pediatric ward at Onanjokwe Intermediate Hospital, revamping of electrical and installation and light bulbs for Onthia Hospital, and all clinics in the region. Installation of a water tank at Newlai Clinic, repair mutual at Onthia Hospital, renovating Onyanya Health Center, Amilema Clinic, and Onanke Clinic, and the replacement of the Okankolo sewer pumps at the cold storage. The Evaristus Shikongo Correctional Facility has spent around 17 million Namibian dollars in constructing offenders clinic, that is 99% complete. Security fence, that is 100% complete. Minimum security units and administrative block that are also 100% complete. Comrade Chair, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Namibians, when it comes to education, education is crucial to the development of our country, Namibia. Therefore, investment in this critical sector is vital, as it influences the development trajectory of our country in the long run. During the year under review, the Directorate of Education, Arts and Culture spent a total of amount $6.4 million Namibian dollars on infrastructure development, the key projects that were successfully implemented include the construction of 20 pre-primary classrooms at 11 schools in the region at a cost of $4.3 million Namibian dollars. The installation of water infrastructure at schools and the maintenance of other infrastructures at a cost of $1.6 million Namibian dollars. And the construction of ablution facility at Ampapara PS in Onipa at a cost of $500,000 Namibian dollars. The construction of more classrooms, specifically at the primary level, will help in providing a conducive environment for teaching and learning. The Director of Education, Arts and Culture also implemented measures aimed at curbing challenges of higher teenage pregnancies and school dropout. Measures taken includes training of life skills grade 4 to 7 teachers, the provision of psychological support, conducting of the regional career fair, and the provision of a continuous professional development for teaching personnel. I would like, therefore, to applaud the Directorate for these commendable efforts. Albeit all those efforts, however, it is saddening to note that the teenage pregnancy rate and the school dropouts remain higher. Last year, a total of 567 learners' pregnancies, as well as 1,814 school dropouts were recorded. Therefore, I would like to call on all of us, as parents, guardians, and the general community, to play our part in ensuring that the children complete school. The quality of life they will lead depends largely on their education level. Comrade Chair, Honorable Councillors, fellow Namibians. Other challenges facing the education fraternity includes all schools' infrastructure, overcrowded classrooms, sandy road, lack of water and electricity at some schools, as well as a poor workmanship from some contractors. I would like to call upon work inspectors, as well as officials dealing with procurement, to ensure that the issue of poor workmanship and the abandoning of construction projects is not condoned in this region of Oshikoto. We cannot afford to waste the already meager resources on the people who are not serious about service delivery. In terms of early childhood development, our government continues to invest in education of our children to improve their standard and make resources available for ECDs, centers, through subsidy. Last year, the region recorded 50% increase in early childhood development enrollment, with 20 of that enrollment hailing from the rural area. Community Chair, fellow Namibians, human capital development and the capacity building is a paramount to the development of our country, Namibia. In this regard, the private sector must pull back not only by way of employing local residents, but most importantly, through creating opportunities for people to acquire marketable skills to advance in life. In addition to the workforce of our 631 for the year 2022, Dante Precious Metals has assisted 19 youth adults with study funding. 46 people benefited from apprenticeship and working integrated learning opportunities. While 39 staff benefited from study loans for assisting employees, all they are qualifying next of kin. That brings the total number of skills development beneficiaries to 104 people. Therefore, Dante has also supported various activities in human development arena to a total amount of $1 million. Thank you very much, Dante, Precious Metal Tsumeb. I am very much pleased to note that Oshikoto region in Province is using the website created by the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations, and Employment Creation to register employers and the job seekers. The number of the registered job seekers registered in this region has increased by 177 over the past year, from 788 to 965. A total of 41 job seekers have been placed at various institutions. I therefore urge job seekers again who have not registered on the system to register. Additionally, the Division of the Marginalized Community enrolled 20 students of marginalized community in various tertiary institutions in an effort to fulfill the right that all children have to education. The division covers the students' tuition, accommodation, and the transportation costs. Honorable members, fellow Namibians, Namibia is a land with ample opportunities. However, there are also many developmental challenges. The growing demand for housing and sanitation remains a challenge in this region, and there needs more attention given that the Oshikoto region is largely rural. During the under review, a total of $2.1 million Namibian was allocated for provision of sanitation in 10 constituencies, with exception of Tsumeb constituency. The aim of this program is to improve community health by reducing open defecation. The current progress rate for this project is at 30%. The surveying of Onyula proper, consisting of 282 plots, was successfully completed. Oshikoto Regional Council also continues to make provision for low-cost housing under the Build Together program on an annual basis. The following housing projects were implemented during the year under review. A private developer through Onipa Town Council serviced on a Thindi Extension 10, Phase 1, with the water and the sewer reticulation. Furthermore, the construction of water reticulation network in Olumbongo and the Thindi Extension 1 is at 60% completion. This project was made possible by GIZ. Water recreation at the development workshop plots, portion queue, was also installed at an amount of 900,000 Namibian dollars. In my SORA last year, I indicated that Onipa Town Council was busy saving 106 new elven for residential purposes. This year, I'm very much happy and pleased to announce that all 106 new elven were allocated to low-income earners. Over 50 houses that were constructed by private developers are now occupied by the residents. Thank you very much for that. In pursuant to uplift the marginalized community, the division of land bought building material worth $150,000 Namibian dollars for the construction of 3 houses which are at 90% complete. In accordance with the Article 16(1) of the Namibian Constitution, guarantees all persons a right to acquire, own, and dispose of all forms of property in any part of the Republic of Namibia. The Division of Land registered 397 customary land rights, issued 1,748 customary land rights to Ondonga Traditional Authority, and they registered 8 rights leaseholders. Thank you very much, Ondonga Traditional Authority. Comrade Chair, fellow Namibians, I wish to reiterate that as a government, we remain committed to promoting our national priorities through our national development plans to address and overcome triple challenges, that is, unemployment, inequality, and poverty. Through targeted efforts to bring social amenities to the people whilst enhancing their economic well-being, Oshikoto Regional Council implemented the Food Cash for Work program in Omtele, Onthia, Kankolo, and Ngodi constituencies. The program focused on this provision of potable water to the rural communities. A total of 423,000 Namibian dollars utilized for that purpose. Despite the challenges of limited funds and the tractors breaking down, 1,736 farmers benefited from plowing services. 7,760 from National Horticulture Support Program. 20 farmers from small stock distribution and development in communal program through Directorate of Agriculture Production, Extension, and Engineering Services. In compliance with the directives from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry, and Tourism, the King Nehale Conservancy has used 50% of its income for social development in the region. Shade structures that now used as a health consultation rooms during the outreach programs were also constructed at 5 villages, namely Hayanda, Shiashemanya, Ontsewonime, Omboto, and Arendo. The conservancy also built a kindergarten at Nakasino village in Omthia constituency. I wish to applaud the conservancy for their generous contribution to the development of this region of Oshikoto. Comrade Chair, honorable members, fellow Namibians, in the quest of bringing services closer to the people, the Office of the Regional Governor embarked on an outreach program, again, in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, Migration, Safety and Security, and the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication, and the Social Welfare, whereby a number of people were also registered for birth certificates and identity cards. Moreover, the Department of Civil Registration this year registered 7,088 births, 5,438 ID requests, and electably 1,925 deaths. In terms of a social grant, 54,889 residents are benefiting from the permanent social grant, and 291 from the temporary disability grant. Through the regional governance office again, 50 people living with disability benefited from their donation from our friends in this region, business people. 50 wheelchairs, and through the Division of Disability Affairs. Community and institutional-based rehabilitation services were rendered to the people living with disabilities. Honorable Chair, honorable members, fellow Namibians, notwithstanding the challenges such as a lack of sport facilities and the insufficient budget to carry out sport activities in this region, the Directorate of Sport continues to promote the development of sport in schools and the community. Numerous sport activities took place in the region during the year under review. Dante Precious Metastumep supported the various sport coaches in the region. And I therefore also urge us all to work together, both as the public and the private sectors, to do more for the sport fraternity. Allow me to use this opportunity, Comrade Chairperson, to inform you all that the Regional Governance Office intends to hold its first ever Governance Cup this year. The goal of this cup is to bring youth from all 11 constituencies of this region, particularly from the rural area, to participate in various sport codes. And the office also of the governor will announce participating requirements and the other activities that will go together with this existing event. Comrade Chair, gender-based violence is a prevalent problem in this republic, Namibia. Impacting on almost every aspect of our life. In this region, gender violence cases have increased by 10% this year compared to the previous year. In most cases, their incidences happen because children are left alone at home without parental care. At the time of reporting now, there were 81 rape cases, 46 domestic violence cases, 246 stock theft cases reported in this region. However, I'm delighted also to report that 222 livestock have been recovered by our own Namibian police. Thank you very much, Namibian Police, Comrade Commander. The lack of mobility to combat crimes in the remote areas is still a problem due to bad roads. And the members of public travel long distances in search for police services, or rather waiting for too long to report a case. As air mitigation measures for GBV and the sexual abuse, awareness is critical. It is also important to give adolescents the knowledge and the skills to comprehend sex and underlying causes of violence in their communities, to educate and engage peers and other community members to work to prevent such violence and to help them learn where they can access support. If they experience violence, if it is for this reason that the Directorate of Youth completed a week-long training with 144 adolescent girls and the young women on comprehensive sexuality education and the secure gender-based violence. When it comes to the carnage, it continues to take away our productive citizens. And it is at a hard time we can take action to reduce road accidents. During the period under review, MVA Fund recorded a total of 201 crashes, 468 injuries, and 51 deaths in the Oshikoto region. According to the statistics, most of the crashes happen during weekends. That indeed point to deplorable lifestyle of our young ones, especially. Given these statistics, let us always be vigilant on the road and be sure to follow the law in order to protect ourselves and others. Furthermore, I implore Comrade Commissioner Nampol and the head team to do, as usual, more awareness campaign on the overloading, speed management, safety aspects of vehicles, and the verification of driver's document. I strongly believe this will help the region on the over-increasing of crashes. Comrade Chair, fellow Namibians, our government aims to make decisions on the basis of evidence that is a result of rigorous scientific inquiry. The government value higher qualified or quality, value higher quality research because that assists responding to the pressing challenges of poverty, unemployment, inequality in our country. It is for this reason the Namibian Statistics Agency will conduct the 4th population and housing census from August this year. I therefore urge all of us, residents of this region, to give the institution full support for them to get accurate data in order to make correct decisions. In conclusion, Director of these proceedings, I would like to remind all residents of this region of Oshikoto, more especially farmers, that we have not received a good rainfall this year. Therefore, we need to make altogether necessary arrangements to save our livestock. To the leaders at various levels and the capacity in our region, let us continue to serve the people of this land with humility and dedication. Let us revive the principle for good governance in all our activities. Having mentioned this, Comrade Chair of the Oshikoto Regional Council, honorable members, Unkwanirwa wa Shilongo Shantonga, fellow Namibians, thank you very much. Big round of applause.
There you have it, of course, the regional address, the State of the Region address by Governor Penda Yanda-Kolo for the year 2023, his fourth SORA since coming into the position in April 2020 after that major reshuffle and appointment by President Geingob. That is the state of affairs here in the Oshikoto region, and of course we dissect that particular address with David Usiku, who is a resident and of course an analyst in this part of the country. David, the SORA just delivered fresh there by the governor. Firstly, what are your initial impressions of this address here?
Yes, it was well. First of all, we must be thankful. Yes. The governor did well by honoring what should be done as from his office, by coming to the members of the region and address to them what he has seen as to be progress or plans of the region. So I appreciate him for that. Now, looking at what came out of this, we have heard of the speech. And things like now the trainings of the ICT, which is being offered by the Ministry of Information, that one, maybe it's supposed just to be clear that it's available in Omthia. Because not in all constituencies. So it being in that way, that means there are some regions that are still, or I mean constituencies that are still left out when it comes to such a good opportunity.
And you make an interesting note, and it's one of the first items, on the governor's speech. In fact, he leads with information dissemination and, of course, the collaboration with MICT and just how well they've done in that. But, as you rightfully admitted as well in that opening, a statement of his, the digital divide is a massive problem in this particular region. How, as you rightfully put it, it speaks more to Omthia, but did you hear anything from the speech that speaks to decentralizing some of these services to the other constituencies here?
When it comes to that, there is nothing of decentralizing the opportunity to the constituencies, to other constituencies. But I can't leave it unattended to. I have maybe just to give advice that other constituencies should find a means of registering those that are interested in trainings of this kind. Then they can make arrangements for them to be brought here in Omthia for them to receive the same training that the residents of Omthia are receiving. Because now, if we say the program is going on, and in most cases only people of one constituency that are benefiting, it will not be 100% representation of the region. So maybe a challenge can only be at accommodation, because in Omthia we don't have either a youth hostel where these people can be accommodated. But if they take it like during school holidays, schools can be able to provide accommodation for these people to be trained, at least just for 1 week. Absolutely. Then they can go back with a skill that they have gained from the training.
I hope the governor is listening. What else stood out for you, David? It was quite a lengthy speech. Not so lengthy in terms of the speech itself, but the deliverance. I think the governor really wanted to make sure that he gets each and every point across. What else stood out for you?
Now, as I have listened to the speech, I have observed that we have two giants that are trying to take up Oshikoto. That's Dundee and Okashana. And them being there, Dundee is most focusing in Tsumeb.
In Tsumeb, yes.
Maybe that's a social responsibility they have. I did not read their background to see what are their social responsibilities. Maybe because that's why they are based in Tsumeb, and most of their assistance is there.
Is happening in that particular part.
Yes. Now with Okashana, they are also on the map. They are making waves when it comes to the governor's speech. Here and there, he's talking of Okashana giving training or gave training to farmers. Even last year's SORA, Okashana has been helping farmers with hatching their eggs to increase the production of their chicken farms. Yes, and the horticultures also. And I've also observed that Okashana, even this year, they are still doing the same. And also when it comes to manufacturing of farm equipment, they are there. And their prices are far reasonable comparing to other people that are in the same industry of manufacturing farming equipment.
You've become quite a big developmental partner here in the region. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Then again, we have, I've heard of the Conservancy. The Conservancy, they gave a portion of what they got from charcoal and wood, whereby they spend it on different variety of shades in the areas or in the places which falls under the Conservancy, because there is a demarcation of where the Conservancy ends within the region.
Yeah.
But I'm not satisfied, because that is, it's peanut. It's better than nothing, but it's not enough.
It's not enough, yeah.
Because when it comes to the Conservancy and Etosha itself, in Oshikoto region, I hardly hear what do we benefit as residents of Oshikoto, having Etosha which attracts more tourists. The trophy hunters come here, then they go.
Absolutely.
What is that as residents of Oshikoto get from
this national treasury?
The national treasury. Yeah. So maybe we need to relook at that and see how best we can be part and parcel of the beneficiaries of the Etosha.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you take Lake Oshikoto, after which the region was named,
yes,
major tourist attraction as well. But as far as other developments are concerned, we saw a lot of highlights and a lot of figures being thrown around. You look at, for instance, the open markets, the developments of the open markets. We're talking about a couple of millions there. Just talk to us about as far as empowering the people of the region, from an entrepreneurial perspective, from a youth empowerment perspective. What do you make of those figures? You were talking about the numbers before the SORA statement, and now you're actually getting those figures. What do you make of it? Yeah?
Yes, yeah, I see the figures that are being mentioned in the speech of the governor. They are running from millions. Millions. There's nothing of either 100,000, but you'll be told millions of dollars. But we need also to look at the work that is being done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because in Namibia we have people who have a tendency of exaggerating prices when it comes to service delivery, but the quality of work sometimes is not satisfactory. Yes, and the pace which they use when they are to carry those tasks. Some of them, they are the ones failing the regions when it comes to service delivery. The person who have a contract, then that contract will end up being extended over and over. But people are waiting to utilize the facility that is being constructed. Even if I go back to the point of the roads, our roads, the roads are the ones that are taking large amount of money. But if you look at the quality of work that is being done,
you ask where did the money go to?
Yes, the work is being done on hand. There are no machineries that are available to either to do the work. But now that same contractor is the one that is being said to take about 5.8 million. Fail again and then get extension, get another million for the work to be completed. You go to the road and see, you can see that no, this is not quality. Maybe what should be done is that we have to make sure that we select the contractors very well.
And the governor stresses, good governance, and you can see it in his speech, and even towards the end of the speech, once again saying that we need to revive, the art and good governance in everything that we do. But do you see that, on a constituency level? Do you see that, from the rest of the leadership, this push for good governance? We see the president speak often about it as well. Is there seriousness around good governance when you look at some of these figures, as you rightfully put it, projects not being completed, etc.?
Yes. Now, if we have projects that are dying incompleted, then that is jeopardizing the good governance that we are aiming for. So what should be done is that now monitoring should be done so that at least nobody will run away from a project. And again, who should do that? The councillors, they must be on the forefront to make sure that if there is somebody who is given a task to do or to carry within their constituencies, then that person should be held accountable for it. Not just saying the person is contracted, then nobody is behind that person to see their work is being done. Things should be done according to their plans. What is being agreed is what should be followed. Now, with the good governance, now I see, I'm a bit worried by the absence of some of the councillors who are supposed to be present today during this very crucial...
So some empty seats there on the high table,
Yes. Now, having empty seats, that means there are 6 people who are meant to be there, but they did not come. And that is not just something for those that are not there. Yes. It's a tendency within the whole region. Even the governor himself, sometimes he fails to come when he's invited at the events of the regional level. He will accept, yes, I'm coming. But during the day of the event, you see there is a representation, somebody to represent him. But now, the presence of our leaders among the people, especially during the gathering, it makes a very big impact. Because people always want to hear from them, people want to interact with them, so that they can have that bond of a leader and their person that they are leading. Yeah. Yes.
And I think those are the basics, of good governance.
Yes.
I want to come back to, our conversation prior to the governor's statement, when we were talking about, the electrification of schools, of rural areas, etc. When you look at his statement, something very interesting shows up. $11 million was used to electrify 6 rural schools. This was done through NORAD. Obviously, it's a very costly exercise. You look at distance, you look at material, etc. But when you look at $11 million across 6 schools, that's quite a big number, eh?
Yeah, that's a big number, because if we look at the electricity that schools need, a school will not even need a 3-phase of electricity. But if we could take solar panels, then install them at schools, we will not have a number of 6 schools in one church. No, it could be either a double of that number.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe the only problem might be fear of
trying new technologies and new ways of doing things.
Yeah, but if we just do that, if we move from this electricity to solar, we will not suffer. As I'm speaking in my house, I've started now mounting up the solar lights, so that when there is no electricity, I will not be in the darkness. As we had this cutoff from NORAD, I did not suffer that, because I was prepared already. So now that's what we need to do at schools as well, or at other many institutions, because if we rely on electricity is very expensive.
True.
You have to recharge. Sometimes you fail to recharge, then you have maybe a postpaid. You fail to pay, then you face the cutoff. So schools need to be given solar panels, so that at least they can have a better source of energy.
I think it's also, a call upon, the leadership to perhaps look into alternative ways and cheaper ways of, spending the very limited resources that we have already. But all in all, when you look at the SORA, you've compared it to last year's one. Do you see a continuation? Do you see progress? Do you see updates as far as, what the governor is saying?
I can say now that the 2 SORAs, this year and of last year, the most places that are being touched are still the same. The governor is speaking of Onipa,
which is doing well.
That's just it. So that means on other constituencies, the development is still on a snail's pace.
Very much.
Yeah, something needs to be done. Maybe, I don't know if it's the councillors of those constituencies who are working hard to make sure that their constituencies are moving, or it's just in something that we need to find out why other regions, or why other constituencies are moving high. And we also need to what I want to hear is from next year. I want to hear at least some other new investors coming in the region. Because I have a question of why there are no other investors, or why there are no investors from outside coming into the region to invest in any of the projects that we might need here. Because it's always just Dundee, Okashana, then Conservancy.
Very much.
Yes.
David, we could talk about this statement for the whole day. I think there's a lot to definitely digest. But I think all in all, we appreciate your participation in this very important broadcast. Of course, bringing the information to the people through our various means. Just perhaps a last comment from you before we let you go. Any concluding remarks? Any message to the leadership, to the people of the Oshikoto region from your side?
Yes. First, I want to say it this way, that at least the governor's office should try to divide the needs according to the people. Who are the people that are in which need? Veterans, the other side; youth, the other side; women, the other side; children, the other side, and all that. Then from there, constituencies should be put in a competition whereby they should be challenged. Each constituency should get even a garden. Let them have a garden and let them produce either food for people or food for animals. We are facing drought, but here the governor did not talk of anything for drought.
Briefly mentioned it, but didn't get into the details of how they're going to battle.
What should we do now when it comes to drought, either that affecting people or animals? So, as I have said earlier, that we have water, like even in Omathia here, we can get underground water, then we can water our crops so that we can produce food for both animals and human beings. Exactly. So now, by putting constituencies in a competition, it's by the way of saying each constituency should have a constituency horticulture or a constituency poultry house. Let it be run by people selected from that particular constituency, and then they should be reporting to the governor's office to tell us how far are you going. The region should at least bring in expertise and train these people so that these particular projects will not die. So that will take us somewhere far.
And I mean, the urgency is there. You see the statistics, the governor mentioned it as well. Unemployment rate, as per the registration of the Ministry of Labor's website, went up by 177, almost 1,000 people. Well, these are the official numbers. Unofficially, we cannot begin to imagine. So obviously, there's still a lot to do. But David, we appreciate you being here. Thank you too for being here, and all the best to you, and of course the people of the region, as far as development is concerned.
Thank you very much for having me. I trust that all will go well.
Very much. Thank you so much. There you have it, David Usiku, who's our analyst this morning. Of course, we're here in the Oshikoto region, in Omathia to be specific, where Governor Penda Yandakolo just delivered his 2023 State of the Region address, giving an account of the state of affairs here in the Oshikoto region. Of course, the NBC continues to move from region to region as we bring you the states of the region's address, as far as just looking at, as far as developments are concerned. Of course, keep your eyes and ears glued to all NBC platforms as we bring you those very developments. But from us here in Omathia, it's goodbye for now.